Atlanta. Why aren't we retaliating? It's Dukes and Bell on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. We start off every day and every hour by saying, hey, man. We hope you are having a great day. I am going to tell you guys, I am sick and tired of having this conversation, but we need to have it. And we need to ask our manager, who we absolutely adore and love, and Brian Snitker, and who's led us to a World Series championship. And arguably, when he's done, and I don't know when that is, we'll probably go down right behind, all right, right behind maybe as the second-best manager that we've ever had in Braves history. But Mike, Francisco Alvarez hit the go-ahead two-run double in the sixth inning. Mets beat the Braves 5-3 in the second game of the doubleheader. But the doubleheader started out with Ronald Acuña getting hit yesterday. Now, we were talking a lot about the draft on a Monday coming off of everything that happened over the weekend. But let's discuss this, because if you're not on board, I hope you get on board. As Braves fans, it's sort of as if, Mike, we just kind of take it as it goes. We just take whatever happens and, oh, it wasn't meant to be. They didn't mean to do that. Oh, well, why do we care? Listen, you've got to protect your stars. And in every sport, all right, it's different. In hockey, Mike, they let you fight. In baseball, it's always been about the game polices itself. And for those who don't understand that, right, the umpires, at some point, if there's enough action, yeah, you might get an ejection. But usually what has happened in the history of baseball is I take care of my own. And so when one of my guys, and especially a star, gets hit, I'm policing it by hitting one of their guys. And, Mike, we refuse to do this time and time again. I'm just going to use the last decade. I'm not even going to go back to the 80s or the 90s. The last 10 years, what have we seen with the Braves when guys have gotten taken advantage of? And Ronald Acuña now has been hit numerous times, not by the Mets. We're just talking generally speaking. Miami did it a lot last year, Mike. Now we've seen the Mets do it. Why are we not retaliating?
Yeah, I don't get this. And this is something we talked about a couple of years back with Dave O'Brien, when we still had Freddie here, of course, who was the, the commando of the clubhouse, Commander Clubhouse, and don't put your sunglasses over the A and all that stuff. But no, I thought there was some stuff. There was a bit of a detachment, I thought, with some of the older guys and Ronald. And because Ronald's a new jack ball player, every team's got him. If you don't have one of these guys, you're not winning many games, whether it's Fernando Tatis or Juan Soto. And obviously the Padres kind of cornered the market on it. Everybody's got swag. And it's not just, players from the Caribbean, as the Bob Feller would say, although some people like to kind of all lump those guys together. Baseball has evolved. Showing up and having fun and doing your thing, it's kind of exciting for some people. And for younger audience, to your point about why we don't protect, I don't think the younger audience understands it. I think we've got a group of, we got to be honest, we have two generations now, people who are risk averse, don't want conflict, and don't understand what something like this requires a retaliation, if I'm honest. But in this case, guys, Mattingly did it. And this is the thing that drove me crazy yesterday. Guys going, why would they do it on an 0-2 pitch? Plausible deniability. When did Mattingly ever answer a question about the half a dozen times they plunked Ronald Acuña? Oh, well, I guess pitch got away from the guy. Yeah, Schilt, who was the owner of the manager of the Cardinals, that little twerp. Remember that guy? He throws at Ronald, Mike Schilt. He throws at Ronald up 13-1 in Game 5, and nothing happened. Nothing. So I do think that either Snitker's got to disconnect with Ronald, or Snitker just doesn't. I don't understand it, because Snitker's of the old school too. He should be protecting his player. You've got to thump somebody on the Mets the first chance you get.
Now, in my experience of being around clubhouses, okay, I can only speak to my experience. Covered the league for over a decade. I got an all-star. I got a Hall of Fame book. Okay. When you walk into a clubhouse the next day and you know that your guy got hit intentionally, and you know that these guys have immaculate control, that, Mike, I can put the ball pretty much where I want to unless I don't want to. You walk into the clubhouse, and usually the veteran guys know. You don't even have to ask them. They just look at each other like, you want to ask because you want to be like, is there some get back today? And they're just, I don't know what you're talking about. Because they know. Veteran pitchers know. Yesterday, I was a little bit upset at Charlie Morton because I didn't give a damn about the game. I'll be honest with you. I was more like Charlie. You've been in the league for 20 years, bro. Set the tone. Let everybody else know, hey, you're going to do this? We're going to do this. This is how it's going to be all season. And Charlie was just like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to pitch. And that narrative, Mike, always comes from the manager, to your point. Even when guys want to do it, sometimes a manager will pull a guy aside. I've seen it in my experience. And basically have the discussion. Don't do it today. Pick your spot. Don't do it today. And you're like, wait a minute. What? Our guy just got hit yesterday. So I don't understand where or why not this is not coming from Brian Snitker. And I'm going to put it on him because, Mike, if the manager blinks his eye or he winks at one of these guys, they know what's up. And I just haven't seen it. And if you guys are like, well, what's the big deal, Dukes and Bell? It's about setting the tone. It's about letting other teams around the league know if we are hitting you, all right, we're getting the best of you, you just don't get to hit our guy. What if it's Matt Olson next time, right? What if it's Riley next time when Riley goes deep and somebody goes, oh, hell no, he's not going to take advantage of us in this series, and they beam him.
Right, and guys, for those guys not understanding this, the Mets were in the process of losing. They would have been the third game they had lost. Ronald Acuña hit a tape measure shot, a third deck shot at Citi Field. I mean, only Alonso and maybe a few other guys have hit it that far. It basically, as I said to Carl yesterday, it was on a trajectory to freaking LaGuardia. And so you get Ronald Acuña, and yes, he does his thing. It takes him like half a minute to round the bases. He does his little stutter step around third. A lot of guys have their thing. But this is the stuff who ticks off the old school managers, like Mattingly, like Schilt, like Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter. Buck freaking Showalter, okay?
Why you gotta say it like that?
Because he's a clown, because he's a freaking idiot, and he chokes every damn time he's in a big game in his career. Look it up. And they gave him the big... Remember when we played him on ESPN when we swept him last year? Remember those idiots? You know, Buck Showalter, he thinks outside the box. He even looks to where the foul balls are hit. What does that even mean? So, I mean, the umpire might have said, hey, guys, real quick moment, because, he just hit a home run 500 feet and you just took one in the shoulder, not in the ass, high up in the shoulder, could have hit him in the head, could have busted something on his arm, and you got to protect him. So come on, I don't. This makes me furious. I don't understand this. I don't understand what Snitker's motivation is not to do something.
Are we the only one?
Eduardo Perez, by the way, that's the guy.
Thank you, Mike. That's right. I forgot. How can I not forget how he sounded? Is it just us? Are we the only ones in the ATL that feel this way? Are we the only ones for the last 3, 4, 5 years been saying, well, hope we get some payback tomorrow. Next day comes, nothing happens. I'm hoping as we move forward through the season that, and again, we're not advocating violence. Understand, when we say policing itself, we simply mean an eye for an eye.
Right.
You hit my guy, I'm going to hit your guy. It should be done. And if it leads to something else and it escalates, so be it. It's baseball. But this is what we're talking about. And as good as our team is, the easiest way to take us out is to do something like this.
Hey, and the other thing, if we forgot about this too, in the first game of the doubleheader, you had Jeff McNeil sliding 5 feet right of the bag trying to take out Vaughn Grissom.
He went at him.
I mean, and again, guys, there was a time in baseball when that was accepted, like when Pete Rose went into Bud Harrelson. That was 1973. Okay, the game is not allowed that anymore. So these umpires either were just looking forward to, I don't know, get done with game one, get their lunch, and get out of there. But there was some stuff that needed to be addressed, and the umpires lost a little bit of control of this game. But if you think for one freaking second that there was not a correlation between the home run in game one and being thrown out in game two, you're freaking delusional. You don't understand baseball.
Atlanta and Dogs fan, that's his Twitter handle. He says, fellas, Dukes and Bell 929, put him up, C Dukes. Put him up. Mike Bell, ATL. He says, it's been going on. It's been going on. He says, the problem is not new. The problem is Snit. He says, Snit won't do blank. It's not going to stop until he stops it. That is coming from a guy who says the manager has to lead the way. Again, love Snit. Everything he's done is touched. He's turned to gold. Right? Line up, all the moves through our run to the World Series. And I just like the guy. But at the end of the day, come on. 404-741-0929. It's our Solomon Brothers Diamond text line. You can also hit us up via social media, guys. Follow the show on Twitch, ATL 929 The Game, and 929 The Game on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, it was Jose Urena for the Marlins used to throw. I mean, Don Mattingly really did it a lot. And again, this is an old school approach. Not everybody does it this way. And don't forget, man, back in 2019, I think that was the first time I remember Ronald getting hit like this. But 2019, Brian McCann was still on that team. And I wonder maybe one day we'll get Brian on the show. We can talk about this. But Brian's an old school guy. Does Brian and the OGs in that clubhouse, like Freddie, kind of cross their arms and harumph Ronald's antics? And that's why there was never an impetus to stop it when it should have been stopped? I don't know.
I don't know either. All I know is he's damn good and arguably the best player on our team and maybe the best player in the league. 5-tool guy who continues to get hit with no retaliation, and I don't understand it.